প্রেসক্রিপশন আপনারা বলছেন এত বড় বড় কথা বলছেন, কোনো প্রেসক্রিপশন আছে তাদের আপনাদের? তখন ফ্রেঞ্চম্যান এই যে মার্সেল বললো যে ইয়াস, in case of language teaching we have to follow the children's method, the way children learn language we have to follow that. Okay, not only that, Pendergast proposed to observe the children contextual and situational clues to interpret utterance. Okay, এই পেন্ডারজেন্ট বললো যে না, আমাদের ওটার আগে কি করতে হবে, আমাদের ভাবতে হবে যে শব্দের উচ্চারণে we have to speak about the utterance of the specific word or the specific language. So we shouldn't have confined to the oral and the written and the translation. We have to go a little bit more. What is the more? That is, we have to speak about the utterance of a specific word or specific language or sentence. So we have to say, and also not only that, F. Gwynne proposed a foreign language teaching proposed based on the observation of child language. And not only that, Gwynne established a school of Abdus. Why? So we are in the discussion that how and which way English language became the, so we have discussed the past, that Latin language was dominated language, the classical language, the literature and others. But gradually towards the second half of the 19th century, the scholars and the general people, they had a different requirements. And when they had a different requirements, F. Gwynne, Pendergast and Marshall, they came up with their suggestions. Suggestion for key innovation or the new approach and methods of English language teaching, not English language teaching, foreign language teaching. Okay, so F. Gwynne school was famous, and in the first lesson of the foreign language teaching was like that. So he instituted like that. I walk towards the door, I walk. So just okay. In case of initial stages, he informed this: we will not be speaking the whole sentence at the time of our oral communication. F. Gwynne and others, F. Gwynne proposal, Marshall proposal next time came up with another approaches and methods. So they initially started in such a way: I walk towards the door. Eta na bole ami ki bolbo, I walk. That means they initiated the oral speaking, how the oral communication can be effective. I draw nearer to the door. I draw nearer to the door. I will say I draw nearer. Okay, or near. So in such a way they initiated their oral proficiency development. So Gwynne emphasizes the uses of gesture and action to convey the meaning of utterance. So gesture and meaning. So sign language will be there. If I say, what does it mean? That means I am not speaking with the help of our lips, but I am speaking with the help of our two fingers. So that is a sign language. So utterance and movement that convey some meaning. If anybody say, how are you? You will say, what does it mean? That means you are so, not so good, not so bad. Okay, so that utterance and gesture also carry meaning in case of oral communications. And next time such activities became, এই যে তারা বললো না যে আপনাকে উত্তর দেওয়া হলো যে হাউ আর ইউ, গুড মর্নিং স্যার, আপনি বললেন, আপনি কিছুই বললেন না, তার দিকে তাকিয়ে থাকেন। And such kind of initiation was developed next time an approach or method that is total physical response. With your physical activities you can learn language. With your physical gesture you can convey some meaning. Okay, that was also explained by the language researcher. And they came up with the idea of reform method. So they said that we have to reform the method. The language teaching specialists like Marshall, Pendergast and Gwynne proposed alternative approaches in language teaching, and their ideas failed to receive support and attention. Next time, a few practical minded linguists like Henry Sweet in England. এরপরে Gwynne-এর পরে আরো কারা আসলেন? Henry Sweet, linguist in England, Wilhelm Victor in Germany, and Paul Passy in France. They offered much credible and acceptable language teaching process related to speaking or oral communication. So Gwynne tried a little bit, but Pendergast and the Marshall, they also tried a little bit, but their prescription was not popular much. Next time this man Henry Sweet and also Victor, Germany, and Paul Passy, they came up with their idea that yes, we have to have a different look for developing the oral communications. Okay, so with their initiative, one thing established, that is the International Phonetic Association, that was established in 1886. Okay, so if the short question is like that International Phonetic Association, then we can't say that it is an association dedicated for pronunciation or like that. We have to have the history. That means in times of 19th century, many people started to speak about the oral communication. For this reason, যখন আপনি oral communication, আপনি যখন লিখে একটা কথা বলছেন, তখন আপনার ভাষা অন্যরা বুঝতে কোনো কারণ লিখা সেটা করছে, কিন্তু আপনি যদি ভুলভাবে উচ্চারণ করেন তাহলে বলে, pardon me sir, would you please tell me in different way? Sorry sir, I couldn't catch it. Every time if you make a phone call to a different people or the first time country, they would say, you are speaking in English, but whatever he was saying, sorry sir, would you please a bit louder? So জোরে বলেন, আবার বললেন জোরে, আবার বলছেন, would you please sir tell me in different letters, different words? অন্যভাবে একটু বলবেন, তারপর আবার বললেন অন্যভাবে, তারপর বললেন, sir, would you please, I couldn't catch you, would you please tell me once again? What does it mean? That means you are speaking in English, but the person who is at that end, he can't understand your words or sentence. That means it is a problem of your pronunciation. So in case of pronunciation in 1886, that is phonetic, International Phonetic Association was. If you talk about the oral communication, you have to make the pronunciation better so that the other people can catch it. And the International Phonetic Alphabet, IPA, was designed to have accurate pronunciation. Okay, so this is the gradual process for language teaching. Gradual process for grammar. So one of the earliest goals of this association is to improve the teaching of the modern language. Okay, and it advocated, কি বললো যে তারা International Phonetic Association, they said that yes, the study of spoken language, that means we have to give emphasis on spoken language. Phonetic training in order to establish good communication habit. Phonetic training, that you have a course, that introduction to phonetics and phonology. Okay, there you have to have, why that is necessary. So if you accuracy and fluency, in case of English language teaching or not English language teaching, you have to have two things, accuracy and fluency. Accuracy and fluency. আপনি একটা বাদ দিলে হবে না. So you have to be accurate, and that initiatives was prescribed by International Phonetic Association. They say that phonetic training in order to establish good pronunciation habit, and the use of conversation text and the dialogues to introduce conversational phrases and idioms. You have to be there, okay, and inductive approach in the testing of grammar, okay, and teaching new meanings through establishing association with the target language rather than by establishing association with the native language. So at that time, towards the last half of the 19th century, researcher, learner, they goes for the oral communication and how we can get fluent and effective and accurate communication following the prescription of International Phonetic Association. Okay. And following this, so some reform method was there, and direct method was came into across, and in these perspectives, they have come up with this idea. That is, we started with a question. That is, we started with the question how English language came or became an academic discipline. 600 years back, Latin language was the dominant language. And why Latin language was dominant language? Their culture, their economy, their political power was strong. And for this reason, people followed Latin language teaching method. And that language teaching and learning method is called traditional method, or classical method, or old method. But next time, that was questioned by many researchers and scholars, and they initiated many terms because for the requirements of general people, for the requirements of the common people. And they initiated that if you are in a position to speak accurately, if you speak fluently, then you have to learn the phonetics. And for this reason, Phonetic Association was established, and in such a way, speaking English or spoken English will be practiced, and your communication will be better, your communication will be effective and accurate. Okay, any questions now? Yes, sir?